everybody, welcome back. I have some updates about the truck. So I figured I would go ahead and fill everybody in on the updates about the truck, I guess. so as we know, last time when I pulled the tank out, I found out that a lot of the rubber lines were pretty rotted. So I went ahead and bought the fuel line and the return line for it that go to the tank, and then hooked to the steel lines that go into the frame. So I've got that out of the way. I didn't have a fuel cap. The fuel cap that I had was an old locking cap. The keys didn't work for it, and it's in pretty bad shape. So I went ahead and just got a stock cap because I've always liked to look at these caps. So I'll just be popping one of the old fashions back on. And then I got a new fuel neck hose, just because it's always a good idea to go ahead and replace those. If you've got it out, might as well. It never hurts to make sure the fuel's going to make it to the tank and not spill out all over the ground. And then went ahead and took the opportunity to sandblast this down a little bit. There was some gas residue and dust buildup around the vent neck right there, and some on the bottom side of this. So I went ahead and blasted it, cleaned it up, put a little bit of acid on there, resoldered those joints, and then shot it with some fresh paint. So that's actually in pretty good shape to go back. However, this is where things get a little extra crazy. I haven't quite gotten a chance to address cleaning the tank out and getting it ready to go. But what I did find out was we have a problem. We are actually leaking fuel pretty bad. That's a pretty dramatic hole there. You can hear the rust in this thing when you slosh it. But we have pinholes here, here, there, coming through there, and a pretty dramatic hole there. So between those sections and what looks like this section, yep, over there, the tank's not looking like it's doing too hot. Now, I still want to take and open the tank up and see how bad it is. I may be able to get away with just cutting this section out at the lowest point. And if that's the thinnest part where the rust seems to be collected, I might be able to weld a piece of sheet metal in there, just keep the tank. But if I open up this tank and it's all pitted all the way through, especially considering the fact that the top side's not doing too hot on the rust, surface rust, you could sand it off. Some of it's just dirt. But if it looks bad all the way through, then I may be getting a new tank as well. I still haven't had a chance to test the sending unit, but I may be doing that here in just a bit. I just know that the tank isn't going to be able to go back in its current condition, so that's a minor setback. And not one that I was expecting to find, honestly, considering it held fuel right up until I pulled it out. Ultimately, a bulk of the good news is if the fuel tank gets replaced, the hoses are replaced, necks cleaned up, and basically everything between the fuel tank and the carburetor is in good shape, then that's like 80% of the fuel system in tip-top shape. The only thing we'd really have to address as far as fuel issues would go is the pump, which for now seems to be working, so that's a nice touch, and the carb, which definitely needs to be rebuilt. It's sat for a long time, and it does have a few leaks. So as soon as I get a rebuild kit for that carburetor, I will be taking that carb off and doing a rebuild on the carb. I also plan on pulling the intake off at the same time because I would like to look at the lifters and I will check on those. But I also want to take and clean the intake really well. The intake's actually got quite a bit of buildup. It's got a lot of dirt, it's got a lot of dust, and it's just really covered in a lot of crud. And let's take a look. Now the intake's a little hard to see. It's a little dark in here, but It's actually an Edelbrock intake. It's probably looked a little better, and I imagine there's probably a bit of carbon buildup underneath it. But there's definitely a lot of gunk and junk on it. And I'm sure the gaskets probably have some leaks like everything else. I know the valve covers are definitely leaking, so if there's nothing coming off of the heads immediately, I will be probably changing those pretty soon. The carburetor is definitely going to be getting gone through. Might as well replace the thermostat. I actually replaced this thermostat years ago when my grandpa was still alive. And I remember we ended up having a lot of trouble with this bolt here. You can still tell. It was seized in there real bad. So we ended up having to take a little bit of MAP gas and propane. And that was after a couple hours of trying to take it out without breaking it off. It was just a big nightmare. But we did end up getting a new thermostat put in it. Other things that I need to address with the truck, I need to check that the heater works. And I don't know if you can tell, but the radiator's definitely seen better days. It doesn't seem to leak, but it would be nice to be able to get a new radiator put in it eventually. That's given that the motor doesn't need to be, gone through. I'd like to get a shroud for it too, but I don't know. We'll just have to figure it out. I'm not exactly sure what all I'm going to end up doing long term. I do want to get this motor running and see if there's anything majorly wrong with it on the bottom end. If there's not, might end up just freshening up the top end, maybe a new timing chain, maybe a little bit better cam, and then just calling that solid. A lot of the seals are in pretty rough shape, so it might end up being something we got to pull. Just go ahead and do front and rear main seals and just basically button it all up. Keep it from being so leaky. Everything on this thing seems to leak. The transmission's leaking. The fuel tank's leaking. My power steering box, actually, I found out last night, is now leaking. So, the line fixes just move the problem on down. But that's not too big of an issue. We can fix that as well. It seems like just about everything on this old truck seems to leak a little bit. Tire, it's holding air, but that one leaks. That one's definitely leaky. But the paint's gonna fix up. That's a good bit of news. And the body's not in the worst shape. I think with a little bit of work and just taking it one step at a time, it'll turn into a good little trailer puller, which is pretty much what I plan on using it for. It'll back a boat into the lake and it'll pull a camper trailer on the weekends. It'll do just fine. I just wanted to get along through here, get some footage of the truck, and then kind of tell everybody what's going on with it, and I guess give a little bit of an overview of kind of some of my plans for it. It's a long way from done. I do have pretty big goals for it. Outside of just pulling the trailer and the boat, I do actually want to drive it off and on more frequently than that. So I will probably be tackling up the interior, getting that freshened up. There's no seals in the door. The glass is a little wobbly. This is about to fall out of the glass. So my angle windows both need a little bit of TLC. Probably going to fix on or replace the door panels. My passenger door doesn't even open. Check this out. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is. I do need to take the door panel off, but from the outside, nothing. And the inside doesn't do anything better. So getting the driver's side to where it'll open and close would be a big bonus, because right now it's everybody file in from this side and file back out, and it's just a little bit cumbersome. But nothing that can't be fixed. I'm pretty confident that it'll come around. And then once it does, it'll look pretty. And then once that's done, who knows? Probably just have to find something else to mess around with. And I don't have any shortage of stuff to mess around with when it comes to fixing on something. But I just wanted to touch base with everybody, let everybody know that we do have a new leak, and then more issues with the tank. So I will be posting more videos for that. We'll definitely be squaring that away. I'll probably do a little time lapse or something on the breakdown, and then swapping over the parts, and then getting everything painted and stabbed back in there. I was prepping everything to get the tank put back in. I went ahead and sanded down the frame, and I got it all cleaned up, wiped down, and spot treated that area. So got good fresh paint underneath there. I think as long as we do that every time we take something off, clean it up, get the rust off of it, paint it, put it back. With as much stuff as the truck needs, the whole thing's going to look pretty much new when we're done, and that excites me quite a bit. I think just getting the paint polished up is going to be pretty fantastic. I like to sit this thing out in the sun and see my reflection in it. Even if it does have some of the rust marks in the patina, I really dig that about this thing. I think I'm going to leave them there. I've got a few bug holes over here. You know, the typical areas over the fender need a little bit of attention. Got a little bit of crumbly there. I'll probably try and spray some stuff in there to get some of that to stop. You know, I might replace this down here just because it is so chewed up inside and out. So spots like that might get extra attention. Around the back of it, with some pretty heavy damage here, I might be able to pull that out and save the paint a little, or work it from the inside. But I'd like to get that straightened out, and I might even be able to straighten this out. And if I can get that done, I'll just clean up the paint and leave it like it is, because that would be really good. I think once I polish some of this down, all that natural rust that's on there that's not too bad, I think once we seal it, it'll probably stick around. Right here. Just the light spots. It's just going to look good. There's enough of the color and enough of the shine left. It just seems like a shame to really get rid of it unless I absolutely have to. Maybe way, way down the road, but I think for now, it's going to look good just being clean. So that's why I'm going to leave it. I'll probably do the engine bay a lot better. I do plan on pulling the fenders. I definitely want to clean those up and repaint them. I definitely want to attack that firewall because it's got a lot of damage, especially where the brakes have been leaking. So we'll be addressing that. Everything else, I think I'm going to leave it like it is. I need to put, well, I don't need to. I definitely want to put a brake booster on. I'd like to have power brakes along with the power steering. I think it'll just help make everything a little more comfortable when it comes to driving down the road. Safety is definitely an issue with these things. Getting that updated and making it safe for everybody on boards. Just a good step going forward. So adding power brakes, getting the power steering system cleaned out, just really tying down all the ends and odds on it. I think it'll be a pretty good rig, especially pushing the trailer. I want the brakes to work. I don't want to have to push on the back glass into the floor to get them to do it. So I'll be snipping that in the bud. But definitely put a little bit of work in here and there, and it'll come around in no time. But I think that's going to be all for this video. I just wanted to touch base and let everybody know what's going on. And if you guys want to stick around and keep watching it happen, I'll be here in a week. I'm trying to post a video every week about the truck. I know there's been a couple weeks that I haven't, but I'll be cleaning up on it. I'm going to be trying to get some of the other stuff put on it. And I may even be pulling some of the stuff in the interior out, so I'll be able to bring you guys along for that. And if you guys want to see it, you know where to find my channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, or just hit the notification bell even. That'll just notify you when something's coming up. And then with that, I think I'm going to check out of here, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys take care. Be good, and I'll see you around.